Hi everybody, Charlie Black 20 back again, this time with a political/historical video for you. The basic premise of this video is going to be the Confederate flag. Now, don't go away from this video quite yet. I promise that this will actually be informative and logical. This will not be a complete rant, although I promise some ranting later if that will entertain you. The Confederate flag that we as Americans and across the world today see, that Confederate flag is not the Confederate flag of the Civil War. This Confederate flag is a Confederate battle flag. It was popularized during the 19-teens and then had a resurgence in the 1950s and 60s. Both of these were times when African Americans were pushing for civil rights or were reacting to white violence against them in ways that they had not reacted before as groups. Now, historically, we look at the Confederate flag from a northern perspective, from a southern perspective. But I recently saw a post on Facebook about a Confederate flag showing up at a rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is ironic. For those of you that don't know, Wisconsin, my home state, was the birthplace of the original Republican Party, Abraham Lincoln's party. They were the ones who were against the expansion of slavery into the new territories of the United States and for the eventual end of slavery. They were the ones the South hated the most. And that's what set off the Civil Wars, that a Republican president got in. And the South was unwilling to lose slavery, was unwilling to let it be limited in any way, shape, or form after so many different legal victories they'd had, and by the fact that their economic and social powers, and mostly political powers, existed off this institution. Now, the Confederate Army did not have a single standard flag. That came much later for like the capital and a few others and a few small units. But most of the Confederate Army actually carried their state flags, and some carried the national flag, but it was completely different than what we see today. The one we see today is completely different. It's not the original flag. So when somebody comes to me with a historical tie to the Confederacy, somebody says, "Oh, my father, my great-great-granddaddy, my great-great-grandfather, or my great-great-grandmother donated to the Confederacy," all these different things. They fought for the Confederacy. They died. They lost a leg. All these different things. My family was dirt poor, didn't own any slaves. So it wasn't about that for them. I can understand them wanting to honor the dead, honor the courage, and to a certain extent, the honor that white Southerners had to some white Northerners. Like, the white Northerners and white Southerners didn't just kill each other willy-nilly. There was a lot of back and forth through a lot of it. It's just that things got darker and darker as things went on. It was towards African Americans that the South and a lot of the North directed most of their anger and vitriol. Now, sorry, but the battle flag of today disrespects the original Confederate flag. I'm not saying I like the original Confederate flag or that I condone it, but neither do I completely condemn it either, because I would rather that the original Confederate flag was used today to honor the fallen dead on the battlefields or in museums. Whereas this Confederate battle flag, I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm not saying ban it, because that's just not me. That's not our country. That's not what we should do. You want to bring a Confederate flag to a rally? Fine. You want to bring an American flag? Fine. You want to bring a Nazi flag? Fine. Hell, you can bring a weed flag and I don't give a frick. But you need to understand its context if you're going to wave that flag. And if you're somebody who disagrees with white supremacy, white terrorism, and just white nationalism, then you need to know that the Confederate flag they are using, they have hijacked your history. If you don't want to be tied to it in any way, shape, or form, then you need to stop using that flag, or tell them they can't use that flag. But I do think that you would be better served by going back to the original Confederate flag. I mean, we can make them now. We can easily make those kind of flags like that. It's easy. Just takes a little bit of money and a little bit of design. But the Confederate flag, battle flag, was known and still is known for showing up at white supremacist rallies, at racist rallies, Klan rallies, neo-Nazi rallies. And since when do neo-Nazis support America? The Nazis were Germans. We had our own fascist party in the United States, or at least groups of them, during the 40s, and guess what? Most of them were beaten. I'm not saying I'm in favor of that, but neither am I condemning it based on the time period they lived in, which was full of turmoil. I can see why passions were high, like today. The most recent use of the Confederate flag that we all know in America and probably around the world is the Charlottesville alt-right rally, where a white supremacist drove his car into a crowd of anti-racist protesters, wounding many of them and killing young Heather Heyer. May God protect her soul. Rest in peace. Now, they say that the rally originally started with people protesting the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue. Now, the person who did it, from what I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that person got the permit and wanted to hold a rally to keep the statue there because he said it would be destroying our history to remove Robert E. Lee. And that's all it was. And that it got co-opted by the alt-right, who came there to rally support for white supremacy, white nationalism, and felt emboldened by new events in our political system. Now, I don't know if that's entirely true about being co-opted. I honestly don't know. But once the alt-right got there, they started chanting things that we know. We know were chanted. It's on news, it's on film. The Jews will not replace us. Blood and soil, a Nazi chant. We went to fucking war to defeat the Nazis, and we've got these neo-Nazi bastards calling themselves American patriots when their great-grandfathers probably fought against the Nazis? Hell, we still have people alive who fought the Nazis, who survived the concentration camps. So, they waved these flags and called themselves patriots. Historically, those flags, the Confederate flag of today, is not the flag of the Confederacy. It has come to represent the Confederacy because the Confederacy represented two white Southerners, and a lot of Northerners too nowadays, just racists in general. The idea that the races should not only be separate, but that some races are inherently inferior. And that we need to lord it over them because they're no better than animals. That they don't deserve the same rights as us. That we have every right to say what we want to them, how we want it to them, and there's not a damn thing they can do about it. The law should not protect them. The law should protect us. Makes me ashamed to have this color skin sometimes. Hearing those kind of things. But the Confederate flag of the Confederacy, I think that the original flag, I could respect that being flown by somebody who actually says, I hate these racist guys. I don't want anything to do with them. They can keep the Confederate battle flag. I'll fly the real flag of the Confederacy because I believe in honoring the dead. I can understand honoring the dead because your great-great-great-grandfather fought for the Confederacy. Or just like flying the American flag of that time period or today could represent honoring the dead of the Union. Now, obviously, one side lost and the other side won, but it's still trying to honor the dead. That's why we've got statues on the battlefields that do that, and in museums. Now, the statues are another thing entirely, so I'm not going to get into that in this video, but the flag of the Confederate battle flag, it's used as a racist symbol these days, or at the very least as an exclusionary symbol. An inclusive symbol of today is the American flag because we have all these great symbols and ideals and words, lines like the Statue of Liberty. The lines on the Statue of Liberty: give me your poor, you're hungry, you're tired. Give us your masses. And we're trying to live up to those ideals. We're evolving as an American country. Obviously, we haven't evolved enough, and maybe we never will. Maybe things are too deeply ingrained in us. But the Confederate flag does not represent that at all. It's exclusionary by default, by the way it's been used, this Confederate battle flag. In the 19-teens, the original movie, Birth of a Nation, the first feature film, came out showing the Ku Klux Klan as crusading saviors of white womanhood against these African Americans who as slaves were nice and docile, and then immediately after freedom are just savage animals after all white women. Complete nonsense, complete bullshit. And that's when the Confederate battle flag became extremely popular again because of the rise of the Klan and the absolute hatred towards African Americans. Because this film just put everything that white South and most whites in general at the time feared. It put it on steroids. And then you have African Americans coming back from World War I after being treated like heroes by the French, being treated like dirt by regular Americans, both South and North. And so they fought back. And in most of the South, you saw Confederate flags waving around, especially at Klan rallies. And then in the 1950s and 60s, when segregation was struck down by the Supreme Court and integration was happening or was being forced into the South, and they put up things called massive resistance. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, all these places, you could find the Confederate flag in nearly every single town. And every Klan meeting always has them. And in the 60s, you could go into a town in Mississippi or Louisiana and never find a single American flag, but you'll find a Confederate flag on every single building, every single truck. Now, why did it peak in the 50s and 60s? Because that's when African Americans were pushing for civil rights and were winning. And that's when so much violence happened. So much violence. Almost all of it directed at African Americans and their allies in their fight against desegregation and equal rights. Now, the Confederate flag in and of itself, I don't want to get rid of it. It should exist. We can't get rid of it. It's done. People want to wave it on their private property, go ahead. It just shows us where you stand on your thinking to a certain degree. You want to wave it at rallies? Be my guest. Be my guest. But I'm going to put out a plea, a sincere, heartfelt plea, to those of you that do not agree with the racism, the anti-Semitism, the exclusionary rhetoric of people who fly the Confederate battle flag and only want to honor the fallen Confederate American soldiers, honor their families' history, honor the history of America, then please don't fly the Confederate battle flag of today. Go back, look up an image of the original Confederate flag, the original, and fly that instead. Please do that. If you want to separate yourselves from the ones that do fly the Confederate battle flag and actually mean to exclude everyone else other than people that look like them or think like them, I plead with you, go back and find that flag. Use that instead and show that you stand with law, with order, with inclusion, being inclusive to make ourselves stronger instead of exclusive and make ourselves weaker. I plead with you, please do that. And now a statement to those who will continue to fly the Confederate flag, despite my pleas, and those who actually believe in that flag, what it represents today, which is hate, exclusion, fascism, genocide, slavery. To those people I say, the South lost. Get over it. You guys won't win. Violence will only get you so far. And in the United States, we crushed the most powerful Nazi machine in the world. At the same time, we were defeating an imperial Japan at the height of its military power. You really think a bunch of neo-Nazi thugs, a bunch of flag-waving degenerates are going to stop the United States of America? I don't think so. So, my warning to you guys, go back to your homes, leave your groups, go back home, find the families you want to have, and just live a peaceful life. You don't have to like everybody. You don't have to respect everybody. Hell, you can hate people all you like. But you're not allowed to resort to violence to get your political opinions across. It won't work this time. The days of domestic terrorism are done. Which means we enter a new era. An era where everyone does see each other as human. Well, guys, good luck. I hope you'll take my plea and my warning to heart.